Hello, this is Erin Lincoln, and welcome back to another Make It Monday. Today I'm going to teach you how to do this impression plate technique where using dies and your impression plate you select not to impress certain parts of your card. You can see a little detail there, that little strip. First things first, we need our impression plate and our die cutter of choice. This is the diamond impression plate, one of my favorites. And if you notice that I have it taped with painter's tape to my actual cutting plate, it helps keep it stable. Now this part is critical because I do not want you ruining your impression plates. You take your die, this is a rectangle die, label die, and it goes face up. Do not put the cutting edge facing the impression plate. You will ruin your impression plate. Very important. You lay your piece of paper over top, and remember, I really don't want to emphasize this enough because I don't want anyone ruining their plates. Cutting side of that die into the paper. This is a little bit like heart surgery, very delicate to try to get the plates on without moving the dies. Getting the plates, getting the mats, getting the paper. Got to be very, it's completely doable. You just got to be very careful. There we go there. And your top plate, and that is how you make the sandwich for this technique. Go ahead and roll it through. If you notice, I'm holding it really tight with my fingers before it gets caught up in the rollers, just to keep everything in place. Like I said, it's tricky, but it's doable. And just imagine I'm doing this working around a tripod, so if I can do it with that, you can definitely figure it out. It's doable. If you turn it over, there you go. And if you notice, I placed my die on my plate and a mirror image of what I wanted my end result to be. It was on the left. When I flipped my paper over, it was on the right. Alright, so I have that little rectangle that is not impressed now on a piece of cardstock that was impressed with the impression plate. I'm using a scoreboard. Just add a little more detail with some lines. You'll see a close-up of this here in a second. I always do this when I do something like this. Technique-wise, I think it adds a little bit more of a finished edge to it. There you go, 2 double lines. I'm not so concerned about the edge there towards the middle because I'm going to be covering it up with some stamp pieces. Now I'm setting this card up to show you some tricks down the line. Probably not how I would do this normally, but I want to show you some things on how to do your sentiment. So that's why we're gluing our panel onto our card front right now. It's an A2 card. Okay, I'm going to have a border here with the small scalloped border. I already cut it. And I'm taking it all the way out to the edge of the card. Me and my trusty glue sticks. I want a scallop to fall right in the middle of that embossed label, so I'm lining it up there. And this is what I like to do a lot of times when I adhere things. I use a brayer to help press it down. If you notice, things don't always stick as nicely to a textured surface, so this kind of helps you work around that. I use a straight edge a lot and a craft knife. I'm noticing here that it's not even that border, so I'm going back and I'm lining it up against the dots that are impressed, and I can see it's a little uneven. Easy just to peel up, even though I've brayered it down. Glue hasn't set yet. And I like that much better. And I just use a ruler and a sharp edge craft knife to trim off the excess. instead of measuring it beforehand. Too much error there. This is very precise. Liking that. Alright, I've already die cut and stamped and colored these two pieces. One is Turning a New Leaf, die and stamp, and the other is In Bloom, die and stamp, which I colored with Copics already. I figured you guys have seen some of this stuff on other videos, so I don't have to repeat, and we can focus on learning new things. Glue stick. Basically covering up that raw edge there that wasn't embossed with that label. Trying to figure out where everything goes. This Turning a New Leaf die cut is really flexible. You can really turn it and manipulate it a lot to make it suit your needs. And that's what I'm doing here. The glue hasn't set. I can move things around a little bit. Everything's always a work in progress. Nothing's concrete. Okay, that flower is actually on pop dots already, so I'm going to take those off. Now, if a lot of you are like me, sometimes you just need to create something, and you the last thing really on your mind is the sentiment. You just feel like making something. We all do it. So now I need a sentiment for that little strip. I already have one picked out in my head, but I'm just showing you what I would do if my card is already made and I'm trying to pick out a sentiment. This is, if you have like 20 different thank you stamps, which one fits the best. I'm just kind of laying it over that space while in the case. Now that flower's on pop dots, which might get in the way of my acrylic block. So let's just look and see what I'm doing here. I'm laying my stamp down, and then I'm putting the block over it to pick it up, and I know that block is gonna not get in the way of that flower. It's right on the edge. And this way, if you kind of are creating ad lib instead of with a real plan, you can work around things. And it's why I set the card up in this way, just to show you that technique. Now, if you remember, I wanted to make sure that scallop was lined up with that rectangle, which allowed me to put this little gem here in a strategic spot, creating a horizontal line across my project. Leads the eye. And there's some detail for you. This is a great technique. If you want to bust out your impression plates and your dies, it's a way to use them in a new way that you might not have done before for really professional results. It looks so neat, and your friends aren't going to believe that you did it yourself. Alright, I hope you try it and participate in our Make It Monday video challenges. Post your projects on Nicole's blog, and hopefully you might be able to win a stamp set of your choice. We pick one lady every week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next Monday for another Make It Monday video.